Okay, this is raw video, so you know if you want to see the actual cut, it's on the on my YouTube page. But here we go. Okay, I cleaned up the spark plug and to see if that makes a difference. So I'm about to start it here. Running on straight hydroxy. And I had the fuel line right before the carburetor clamped off, so there's no gasoline going in there. And
Gasoline's out of the flow bowl. No
yeah, that's the other thing. And if you look on my videos, I run it out of gas, and then I try to start it a few times just to prove that there's no gasoline in there at all. Let's see if this is the video. I had one where there was I tried to rev it.
I would expect it to just fall on its face with the same amount of fuel. Yeah, what's that red light? The brake light?
Yeah, check that. This might not be the video.
It sounded like you had just done through it that way.
Well, maybe I'll just refer you guys to my YouTube page.
Yeah.
It's youtube.com/JakerBall, and there's a hydrogen scooter test, and it's number 11. In that video, I was able to get the scooter to rev up.
What did you do when you got the rev? Did you add more gas?
I had it, that was after I got the gas all dried, and I just turned the throttle. And
So before you put the desk in line?
No, this was after I had the desk
Yeah,
in.
before you put the desk in line, it wouldn't rev up?
It took a lot more gas to idle. I didn't actually try that.
So it wasn't the desk in that made it?
Well, what I found from just idling is it took more gas to idle without the desk. So then, before I did this test with running the scooter on straight hydroxy gas, I put a replication of SMAC's unit under this scooter has a compartment under the seat, so I put a SMAC replication under there with a car battery just to boost the scooter. And when you hooked up the hydroxy gas, you could just hear the engine boom, and it gave it a lot more power. But you know, I did some gas knowledge testing on that, and I didn't see any significant gain. We had power, you know, definite power increase. So the conclusion that I've come to is, if you add hydroxy, you get more power. But if you actually want fuel economy, you got to do something to lean it out. So to summarize the hydrogen scooter test, I found that air-fuel ratio is really important, and it's somewhat hard to maintain. So if you're going to try to run the engine at a different engine speed, you need to have some kind of way to keep the air-fuel ratio at the ideal point. And then the other thing I found was to dry the gas, and that's also important. The next project I've been working on is hydrogen booster. It's the same unit that I did for running the scooter. What I had to do is, if you want to run the cell anything over about 15 to 20 amps, with this particular alternator, the voltage starts dropping. So what I had to do was drop a cell. So instead of having 7 cells, I went to 6 cells. And this is a continuing project. I'm not done with this, but the initial results with no FE or modifications to the computer, I haven't gotten a gain yet. But one test I did is, if you have this the car running there idling, and you you know, have it producing gas, and you unhook the hydroxy line, and then if you hook the line back up, you can hear a definite change in the engine. It kind of smooths out. You can hear a visible or audible change in the engine. So it's definitely doing something. So this chart here, this vehicle is my mother-in-law's vehicle, and they've kept meticulous gas mileage data for 10 years on this car. And so the blue line here, what I did was I took for each month that they had for 10 years, I averaged all the gas mileage data for 1 month, and then that's each one of the data points for the blue line. So as you can see, as you go across the x-axis here, it's the months, say January, February, and so on. And so as you can see, with a vehicle that's not boosted, you know, probably even if it's boosted, you'll see that gas mileage goes up in the summer and it goes down in the winter. And it's very dependent on the outside temperature. So the red line, I took the average temperatures for each one of those months for the city that the car's in, and plotted that along with gas mileage just to show, you know, the relation between temperature and gas mileage.
Wasn't that relationship also due to the fact that the gasoline companies put the methanol
That could be
in
too.
the winter?
That could be too.
It's 10% of the methanol, because
Not between June and July though.
Yeah, they don't put methanol in the smacker summer. What happens is that when there's a temperature change, that is reflected as the amount of density of gas for the ECU. And it automatically changes your fuel to air ratio mixture to put more gas, because it thinks that in the summer, well, you get better gas mileage because the air is thinner, so it cuts down on the gas. And in winter, when it's cold, it says, okay, you've got more air molecules coming in because the air is denser, so it puts more gas into it, trying to compensate for it, then keep the air to fuel ratio mixture.
Right.
And that's when you have more waste of gas. That's why when you play around with the temperature sensors on the car, you actually increase the mileage by doing that too. But you don't want to take it too far, because then you dry the motor out and it starts pinging.
running lean.
Yep.
And the race car tuners go around the drag strips around the country, are very familiar with that phenomenon.
Mhm.
Setting up a car in Denver is much different than setting up a car in California.
Yes, and it has to do with
Air density.
two conditions. One is barometric pressure, because it changes density. The other one is temperature, because it changes air density.